Hello and welcome to Mabinda TV. So this is the American Daily Wrap. This is the American Daily Wrap. Basically, I will be looking at the top issues in America. So for now, I'm looking at a Trump calls Somalis garbage. That is, the President Donald Trump has called Somalis garbage. What does that mean? Basically, that means that Trump wants to create a European satellite state. That is, for instance, that Trump wants to create a European satellite state. That is, whereas America is welcoming of immigrants from throughout the world, whereas America welcomes immigrants from throughout the world, but that America was purposely built to be a European satellite state. So that's what President Trump is trying to do. That is, basically, it is make America white again. That is the mantra that Donald Trump has adopted. That is make America white again. So basically, I think America has to be able to fashion clearly. Why does America want to chase away non-white immigrants? So basically, you have the case of the Afghan refugees. The Afghan refugees basically they were added into the country. Basically, Afghan refugees are being vetted again. That is, Afghan refugees are being vetted again, and that is going to remember America has so many troops abroad, and you have these troops having people that aid in translation, people that are contractors to the American army. So basically, someone will think twice before becoming an American ally. Basically, they could be thrown under the bus by America, and that's what Donald Trump is doing. That is, Donald Trump is remaking America again. That is, Donald Trump is remaking America again, and I think that is why Donald Trump is basically. That is why Donald Trump is basically wants to create a European state. So that's it with Trump while wanting to create an American state, a European state. Remember, Donald Trump has said South African white South Africans are facing white South Africans are facing persecution. That is what Donald Trump has accused America. That is, white South Africans are facing persecution. So basically, that means that they need to be able to and they have been offered a free pass as refugees. So Donald Trump wants to ban immigration from third world countries. That is, Donald Trump wants to ban immigration from third world countries. But why are immigrants demonized? Why are immigrants being demonized? That's what we should be asking. Why are immigrants being demonized? Remember, America has been renewed constantly by immigrants, and you have the election of the New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani. Of course, he is a Muslim. He is an immigrant from Uganda. So you see all these immigrants contributing to the melting pot that is America. You have these immigrants contributing to the melting pot that is America. But then, of course, you have white supremacy saying America was meant to be a European satellite state. And that is why, then, for now, I would caution and say that America has to be able to balance. You have the Chinese American immigrant, the Chinese American, the founder of Zoom, Eric Yuan. He applied for the U.S. passport a record 7 times. He only got it at the eighth attempt. That is Eric Yuan. He applied for the U.S. passport a record 7 times. He only got it at the eighth attempt, and that is why I think America is constantly renewed by immigrants. So basically, America has to have, or maybe America should have a merit-based immigration, like Canada and Australia, where the higher your points, the higher your academic qualification, the higher your professional experience, the higher the likelihood that you get more points so that you immigrate and add on to the skills visa. So The only category Trump has added is the gold visa. The only category that Donald Trump has added is the gold visa, where basically, if you are going to invest over $5 million in America, then or if you are going to invest over $5 million in America, then you will you will be given a visa to America. So that's it about America becoming a European settled state. Basically becoming America basically where America is going to engage in the deep issues of the day. So that's America becoming a European settled state. Then, of course, you have Trump conducting ethnic cleansing by calling Somalis garbage. And of course, he's gone to Minnesota. I think in Minnesota is where a lot of Somalis are based and basically wants to carry out a deportation of immigrants. You have the representative Ilhan Omar saying basically that what Trump is attempting to do is ethnic cleansing. That is what the representative Ilhan Omar says. That is basically that Donald Trump is attempting ethnic cleansing, and I think that is something that you're going to follow through. I think Donald Trump he called Mexicans drug lords and killers and rapists, and basically you had a group of Trump supporters urinating on homeless Mexicans. But I think Trump is being cheered on by the MAGA base. Trump is being cheered on by the MAGA base, which wants a white America. Remember, white nationalists, they were a dying group, they have but now they have come out of the fringes. They are being, and now they are. That is white Americans, white nationalists, and now they are basically now supporting Donald Trump. And when he demonizes immigrants, you have people cheering on. Remember, there was a South Korean company that was investing in semiconductor in America. You had them cheering on. Basically, you had these semiconductor factory workers being hounded out by the ICE deportation officials, and so of course you had the White House cheering on as that raid was being conducted. So basically, I think what we need now is America. What we need now is basically America that has a merit-based immigration, and of course, that is it. And then another story of the day is Russia-Ukraine peace deal is still in limbo. That is Russia-Ukraine peace deal is still in limbo, and I think what we are going to be doing then is to be able to what we are going to be able to do then is to ask, will a peace deal remember Ukraine's president Volodymyr Zelensky has said Ukraine will not hit to President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he will not hit he will not hit to ceding more ground to Russia. That is what Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has said. He has said that he will not hit to Ukraine, he will not hit to Ukraine ceding more ground to Russia. That is what Ukraine's President Zelensky has said. He will not hit to Ukraine losing more territory to Russia. So that's a peace deal that is going to basically, that's a peace deal that is going to take ages. And of course, Russia is adamant that Ukraine must seize the Donetsk region. And of course, that's something that we are going to be looking at. Then another story of the day: Trump returns to gasoline as fuel of choice for cars. That is, Trump returns to gasoline as fuel of choice for cars. Of course, that is cutting down Biden's climate policy. Of course, you had Biden, of course, wanting America transitioning to electric cars by 2036. Well, of course, you have Donald Trump basically saying drill, baby, drill. That is the mantra of Donald Trump. And then now drilling oil, not just oil, but also coal. And of course, you have Donald Trump saying we need to expand the energy choices for Americans. That is, we need to expand the energy choices for Americans. And I think that's something that we need to be looking at. That is expanding the energy choices for Americans. And then, of course, another another story we're going to be looking at is Taiwan's opposition leader turns towards China. That is, Taiwan's opposition leader turns towards China. So, what does this mean? This means that Taiwan, that is, they want the opposition leader of Taiwan wants Taiwan to embrace its Chinese heritage so that they can avoid this war with imminent war with China. Remember, China has always said that Taiwan is it's its province in Renegade province. That is, China has always maintained that Taiwan is its renegade province, and basically they can detect Taiwan any moment they deem fit. And of course, this has been the foreign policy of China. But of course, the United States says if China attacks Taiwan, the United States will support Taiwan. So you can see how very much the US is embroiled in this war with China. So, of course, that is what we are going to be witnessing, and I think that is Taiwan's opposition leader turns towards China. So, of course, that is the daily wrap for today, and of course. That is the daily wrap for today. And of course, we are going to be looking tomorrow on the top issues of the day. And of course, the top issue of the day is White House being accused of carrying out ethnic cleansing in order to be able to White House carrying out ethnic cleansing in order to be able to that is White House is carrying out ethnic cleansing in order to be able to create a white-only America. So, of course, this is something we're going to follow through, and I think we will be able to follow through. So, bye for now. Till the next episode. Bye for now.